Alright, so on the left hand side you have the daily, and the right hand side you have 5 minute. But behind those charts there's another set of charts, and all they do is they break down the bar charts into what Wyckoff called tape reading charts, but different style. I mean, he used point and figure with numbers representing volume instead of the X's and O's. They had numbers there. But I think there's another way to do it. I find it better to use renko with the volume, and I'll show how to do that. You can use point and figure too, but I think that the clarity that you get matters. And anyway, I'll go into all that shit. So over here, I mean, the trend is up, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to short? No. Why? It's green. That's why. All started off with the high volume coming in, 11 with 8 zeros, whatever that is, and then tested, decreasing volume, boom, 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 boom. Alright, so and look at the pullbacks, they're weak, so there's no reason to even think about going short. And I know a lot of people say, oh, it's at resistance, let me go short. You crazy? You know, you got, so what? You know, resistance in a downtrend, then when it goes to resistance, it's better. But in an uptrend, form of resistance, it's gonna break through, or like range, absorb, then break out, and all that. So anyway, so what I want to do is I wanted to kind of examine these waves. So this is what Wyckoff was trying to do. Once he had like a daily chart, right? After that, he used the wave chart to see the change in trend, where he did use support, resistance, as well as pullbacks. So support and resistance, if the market was ranging from 30 to 35, he'd look to buy 30 and sell 35. And he'd watch how the wave chart behaved at 30 and 35, looking for buy and sell opportunities, as well as the volume in the waves intraday to see whether they were increasing or decreasing. So that's one, the way he plays support and resistance in dull markets. And then on more active markets, I mean, like if you have an active market, you just day traded using the wave chart. The other thing is, like, he preferred to buy on the drive down instead of the breakout. So basically pull back, and he examined that even after the breakout. So it talks about it in his Division 2 course. Anyway, so what I'm trying to get at is you have bars, you have waves, and then you want to take a look at what's going on inside the wave, right? Why? Because price has a natural tendency that when it breaks these areas, volume increases, and then if it follows through and then comes back to test, it has a tendency to tag these areas of volume. Why? I don't know why. It's probably because the buyers and sellers stuck there, or because the buyers exerted extreme force, meaning that high volume, they're willing to enthusiastically take out the sellers there. So there's something about that. And those areas, sellers are trapped. A, buyers showed the ability to break through there, meaning they exerted strength. B and C, pullback buyers will enter that same area where buyers initially broke out. So there's a lot of psychology there. But anyway, I wanted to kind of examine this wave, right? So how did Wyckoff examine the wave? A wave up or a wave down? What he did was use the tape reading chart, and that was just a point and figure that's chopped up, you know, and he had the volumes in there. Now there's other ways to do this, one of which is renko. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking this and using renko with volume. Alright, that'll do the trick. And over here I have that renko with volume. Alright, and some may say, why are you doing this, why are you doing that? It really doesn't matter. All you need to see that volume at price and be able to judge the behavior. So that's the whole idea, to have that microscopic view. Alright, there's the same logic. Anyway, so this area is really important. Alright, so we're just going to examine this this wave. Why am I examining this wave? Because if I'm a pullback buyer, I want to know where to buy the pullbacks. So I want to know where buyers are going to step in or have high likelihood of stepping in, and then examine those areas using lower time frames, etc., and see if they're going to step in or they really are stepping in. So first thing you always want to do is mark the areas, right? So a lot of folks will be taking a look at this area, and they're right to do so, because this, like I said in prior videos, is absorption, right? So this area, it has overlapping bars. Now if you have overlapping volume, then in that narrow range, obviously you're going to have high volume. Why? Because you have bar after bar after bar after bar after bar. Its volume plus its volume plus its volume plus its volume plus its volume in that 1 bar range. So in that 1 bar range, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars of volume. So it has to have high volume. All right. So absorption is one of the what is it called? One of the behaviors that has high volume. It just always does. Anyway, and how do you view that? It's right here, that 26. That's 26. I think it's 260 million shares right there traded. 260 million shares in that block. So, yeah, I mean that's a lot of. So what we're gonna look to this area and see what the behavior is. Now I know this is absorption, obviously, right? Because they were absorbing resistance and then breaking out. So that sideways movement looks like one brick, which I really like, because otherwise it gets too difficult to read. So what's that shit called? Absorption, right there. There's your absorption. Alright, now what am I looking for? I'm looking for breakout, maybe some more follow through, and then pull back. I'm not a fan if it just immediately goes down, because it could be some type of climactic move as well, and that's why you want to see a good amount of follow through. So when the price comes back down, you kind of take a look and see what the hell's going on, right? So anyway, so we'll take a look at this. Was it here or there? So this was the last wave here. So I just want to kind of understand the background. So what happened was, from that high, we basically had 70,000, 170,000 shares, then 170,000 shares down. Had very little follow through. I mean, basically dipped to 60,000, and then 70,000 was in some type of, I don't know, spring position, and 80,000 shares came up in, which was bigger than the last 2 bars. What the fuck? Anyway, so this thing came in 80,000 shares, 80,000 shares, 0, 60,000 shares here, and they took out the high with 260,000 shares with a follow through of 150,000 shares. And just want to examine the volume a little bit better. Definitely very nice increase. Has some follow through, pull back on 14. I mean, we don't really know if it's 14,000 or not. Anyway, so very likely it's gonna test this area off of right this zone. So on the lower time frame, as it goes higher and comes back here, you want to take a look at the 5-minute chart and see how it's behaving, and look for turning point behavior here. maybe stops around here. So I want to see this, how this occurred. Anyway, 17, 17, 16, boom, boom. Yeah, this was the liftoff. See, like this is also really nice. When it rallied, it pulled back. Where did it pull back to? To test. Where did it test? Again, this area here was 150,000, and then 310,000, which initiated the move all the, up to here, which just broke through resistance, right? And all we did was come back to that same area of 310,000. See, this thing right here was, let's see in the bar chart, why is it so, you don't really see it that well in the bar chart, but that area is very nice. It's probably because it was former support. So all it did was rally, come back to this support area, and 310,000 went up, down to that same 310,000 brick, and then bang. So this is where smart money was, you know. Anyway, that's what they traded. The other key behaviors, like you go, go up, down, up, 200,000, bang, right here, 190,000 initiated the up move, right? Comes down, 310,000 initiated the up move. Ding, 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 ding. 170,000 initiated test of support. Only 80,000 initiated the up move. It was bigger than the last two, so I mean, I would prefer it to be much more higher than that. And the continuation or absorption here is 260,000. Anyway, so now I just have to watch how it happens. If there's no follow through, then I don't like this, because it can be used as a trap. But I don't really see any reason for that. Why? Because I'm taking a look at the bar chart here. It did a very nice spring, right? And then it did absorption, and then it rallied. So even if it comes back down, this area should be an area of support. But wait to see. What am I going to do when it does that? Go to this chart here and start observing what's going on. And then again, like I explained, any wave chart can be broken into pieces, right? Because it's a wave. So if it's 10-point wave, chop it up in 10 pieces if you want, or bigger pieces. However you want to chop it up, because that's really subjective. But then again, so is a time-based chart, which you chop up into 5 minutes anyway. So then I can go over here and map the wave chart to the renko and see how much blocks of volume, right in that 120. So anyway, the point that I'm trying to make here is, one of the things that Wyckoff did was he had a bar chart, let's say high time frame of daily, then he would take a look at the wave chart intraday, then get the microscopic view and use a tape reading chart. Now, tape reading chart, all it does, he used the point figure, and then he replaced the X's and O's with the volume. So it's just volume at those X's and O's. So each, I don't know what to call it, brick or box. Yeah, the box. Each box had a volume. So similarly, you can consider this, because renko has the same box, right? So it has box, box, box. Call it brick, 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 and just replace it with volume. Only difference is renko would move to the next column, right? Will move to the next column on every subsequent brick, whereas point and figure would go into the same column. Instead of the next column, it would be in the same column, keep on going up. So it'd be like a tower, just like straight up, and then come back down. In renko, it would be moving to the next column, and it would wave better. And also renko I think is a little bit more clearer because I mean it just looks clearer. It goes to the next column, next column, next column. So you can, I think it's just a little bit more clearer, and the purpose could be the same. The other thing is like with a point figure you can do counts. Over here you can, but there's other targeting techniques as well. So I mean this is a pretty significant breakout, like from here to here. So this would be 1, 2. Hell, this should easily go up to like at least 320, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to around 330, 340. Maybe with the pullback and all this and that, but I mean, I wouldn't surprise me. Now that is if it doesn't just immediately reverse down, which I don't think it will. And also I like renko because the volume is very clear. Like over here, 31, bang, I'm in, and then bang again, 26. It's really sticking out there. Biggest volume since 15 bars. Biggest volume since 31 bars. Oh wait, shit, 215 bricks. Ooh. And had all this follow through. Anyway, so just start experimenting with these different approaches. You don't have to be a rocket scientist, but you do need to kind of develop some type of intuition. Anyway, thank you. Bye bye. Have a good weekend.